For the first time in 5 years, Monday Night Football has returned to the Motor City. And, was it a good one? Detroit Lions over the Las Vegas Raiders, 26-14. Detroit needed a bounce-back win after, that not-so-great loss at Baltimore. They got it done. There were standout performances from the rookie, Jahmyr Gibbs. We'll talk all about that defense. Thanks for tuning into the Detroit Lions live post-game show presented by Cure Auto Insurance. I am joined by the big fella.
Can I give it to him?
The newest inductee of the Pride of the Lions.
Thank you. Wait a minute.
Mr. Lomas Brown.
Right there. Little big fella, 75.
Big fella number 75. I'm Dannie Rogers. Thanks so much for joining us. As much as this game, was about the Detroit Lions, it really was about you, Lomas Brown.
Thank you, Danny.
Starting last night there was a big ceremony for you, a nice dinner, being inducted into the Pride of the Lions. You're joining 19 other Detroit Lions.
Wow. It looked
in
good
this honor.
Seeing my name up there too, Danny. They lit
stunning.
it up for me and everything.
It's beautiful.
So I'm going to have to find out where that suite is, Danny, because I'm going to have to go up in there and investigate
and
just where I am.
And touch the banner. I think you should do it.
I will do that. Thank you.
Just tell us when so we can get it on video. Right above Barry Sanders, your little fella, to the big fella.
The little big fella. I love it. It was so great, Danny, seeing all those alumni. We had almost 100 alumni here. Some guys I played with, other guys I didn't play with, but we're all in a family. For those guys to show up, and they didn't just show up for me. They showed up because it was alumni weekend, but it was great to be around the guys. And, Danny, the last thing, the older you get, the better you were. So I blocked 2 guys on one play and beat Barry to the end zone.
Ooh, that is serious.
I was a bad man, Danny. Okay.
Man, do I know it. All right. Before we get into Detroit Lions highlights, we're getting into some Lomas highlights. We're going to throw it back. I'm going to have you recount as many of these. Watch this moment.
Goodness.
Do you remember what this was?
Yes, that's the Bob Hope show, the All-American show, man. Wow, I'm looking. Wow, that's a young big fella right there.
That's a big fella.
Yeah.
He said you were so big you could play in 2 senior bowl games, as they would call it, at the same time, mind you.
He's a trip. He was a trip. He was a great comedian.
Look at that name come across the board.
Wow.
In that draft.
Then I was at home just chilling when the name came across the board. Of course, it is so different nowadays. Yep. Yeah. Oh, I'm smiling before a game.
Look at those cheeks,
wow,
Lomas.
I can't believe I'm smiling before a game, Danny. I tried to turn it on and be a mean guy
right?
that time.
How do we have highlights of you, Lomas, as an offensive tackle? How is that even possible? It's because you are making such big plays that we have highlights of you. Look at that big fella.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh. Danny, I don't know if I can move like that anymore. That was many moons ago. Many moons.
Well, that's why we had the heart rate monitor on you most of the time. So in case you do try to pull a move like that, we'll know.
What, Danny?
Blocking downfield?
Oh, wow.
Man.
Y'all making the big fella look good on this little video right here.
You're looking stunning.
Yeah.
Look at that big old hole.
And look at that. Look at number 20, the swelt little fella back there.
Barry was everywhere tonight, too.
He sure was.
In the building. We love it. Yeah. What's your favorite memory as a Lion?
Really, Danny, the 1991 season when we went 12-4. It was bittersweet because, of course, Mike Utley got paralyzed. And Eric Andersek died, but we went 12-4, 1 game away from the Super Bowl, Danny. It was so great, and this city was electric, almost like it was today here.
Yeah, 11 seasons for you in Detroit, 18 altogether in the NFL. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm just glad I could stand up and walk too. I'm glad I'm still functioning. Yes.
We've checked. All limbs are functioning. All right, Lomas, thank you very much for all you've done for Detroit.
Thank you, Danny.
Let's talk about this game because we can thank Detroit Lions for pulling out the dub on Lomas Brown night.
Yes.
Oh, what impressed you the most about this win?
You know what, Danny? We didn't start off good. I mean, we started off, 3 field goals in a row. We were moving the ball.
Shout out to Riley Patterson.
Absolutely. We needed that one, even though he missed that little chip shot, but that's all right. That's all right. He has a week to work on it, Danny. We'll calm down. But, after the second half, they really made adjustments in the locker room. And they came out as a totally different team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Like you say, Jahmyr Gibbs, big game in the run game. We were able to get passes downfield. It was just great to see this offense really clicking again.
Let's talk about the running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, out of the gate. He was drafted 12th overall. the staff wasn't worried about what Gibbs could do, but the fans were. They wanted to see Gibbs get in there and have a breakout game. Well, he got it on Monday Night Football. Over 140 rushing yards. It was play after play. He was running the rock. Why could Vegas not stop him, even though we all knew who was going to get the ball?
You're exactly right. That's because our guys did a great job up front. And, Danny, think about the shuffling that we had to do on the offensive line. We had 2 new guys, 2 young guys in there that didn't have a lot of experience. Those guys did a great job of staying on their blocks, opening holes for Jameer, for Reynolds. So they did a nice job of really maintaining, and they were good in pass protection too. So that's the luxury of a Detroit Lion team having a great offensive line like we have.
It sure is. So you see those final stats, 152 rushing yards. Ja involved in the pass game as well. And he goes back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. So he gets his first on the road at Baltimore and then comes home to Ford Field and scores another touchdown.
I like it.
There's more where that came from, I can tell you that.
Ooh, okay. Is that a tease?
Potentially. Okay. We will see where running back David Montgomery is after the bye week. He's been dealing with a rib cartilage issue. So they didn't put him on IR.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a great thing. Yeah. So it'll be really telling after this bye week to see where Montgomery is and then how they decide to use that duo if they're both healthy.
Yeah, and look, I thought Craig Reynolds, I thought that Jameer Gibbs, that duo worked very well tonight. So, Danny, I'm like you. I'm so excited when we get David back to see how those 3 guys will really work together.
I agree. All right, head coach Dan Campbell standing by at the podium. Let's hear from him after his Lions dub.
The most important thing about this game was us getting our identity back, and that was what all the work that we put in this week was about. The whole focus was about getting back to what we do, and that was the most important thing, and that really showed through today. Was it perfect? It wasn't perfect, but ultimately we got what I wanted to get out of it, and you come away with a win. I thought our defense played outstanding, man. You play defense like that, you can beat anybody. And offensively, man, we take the turnovers out, and we played some really good football. We were explosive. We were able to run the ball. It's, I think, one of our best rushing attacks we've had all season. Sorsdale and Yodi and Skip all battled in there at guard. I thought Decker and Sewell did an outstanding job against a premier player on the perimeter. So I just thought man, the guys bounced back, and they played with confidence, and they were ready to go.
What's it say about your team when you can go 1 for 5 in the red zone, turn over 3 times, and still come away with a double-digit victory?
It says let's not do that again. Let's just not. Let's take those out of there. But yeah, I mean, we continued to, we let them back in. We kept letting them back in, and you can't keep doing that. But when your defense plays that good, you can overcome those. And that's stuff that we'll be able to correct, clean up. We talk about it all the time, and certainly you're fortunate when you turn the ball over 3 times and miss a field goal that you're able to come out with a win. But like I say, the most important thing was getting our identity back, and we did that. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a good spot to be in. Wins are hard to come by in this league. And anything's up for grabs in the NFC right now. And our focus right now is our own division, and so we get another win, and we help our own cause. And then now we got a chance to heal up. We're going to get some guys back after the bye that are important to us. Important pieces. But look, I was proud of the fellas, man. I was proud of the coaches too. This profession, there's you come out of a tough loss like last week, and then you got to put it behind you, and you got to go back to work. And I was just, I love the fact nobody lost confidence, nobody was shaken. We knew we just needed to put the work back in and trust in trust in our process, and it's a hell of a job by everybody.
With a breakout performance from Jameer Gibbs, it seems like you guys are really conscious about feeding him the ball early. I guess what did you say in that Raiders defense to really get him going and talk about his performance?
Well, look, that defense they played pretty dang good, and they've been pretty stingy in the run game, and but we felt like there was some things that we could do, and we wanted to get Gibbs going. We wanted to be able to establish the run, and you could tell he was feeling it. He was starting to. Every week he's just gotten a little bit better and a little bit better, and I thought last week was his best game, and this week certainly surpassed that. And I think the more he gains his own confidence in his own abilities in this league, he's just going to continue to grow. And I think this was kind of the tip of the iceberg, if you will, for what he is able to do and going to be able to do. So really proud of him. I was proud of that old line too. I mean, they just battled. So it was good to see.
Next man up so often, and your team epitomizes that. The running game, over 200 yards. You got the 152 for Gibbs, you got the 75 for Chris. And as you said, next man up. Montgomery's up. You're all with rags, and yet you still survive in a league this tough to win.
Well, that's the credit to coaches. I think the coach has done a great job. And then I go back to every guy knows that they could be the next man that has the opportunity. It's real. And they get coached that way. They get coached as if, that they are going in. We rep them enough. And so, look, it goes all the way around. It's coaches and players.
And you're missing three or several offensive linemen shuffled around. You didn't have Montgomery. What made you think you could reestablish your run identity in this game with those guys all out?
Well, you're not going to know unless you try. So that's the combination. We just believe those guys can. There's some things they're capable of doing, and we know Sorsdale can run off the football. He's shown that. Yodi can play with good pad level and has some power, and so. Have we ever worked that combination together? No, but you got to try, and they got it going. Did a heck of a job. Hank did a heck of a job once again.
Sorry, why did you use that combination with Vaitai in particular?
Vaitai wasn't feeling real good. He's been battling.
What's your impression of the pass rush, specifically Lee McNeil, Alex Anzalone, what they were able to do today?
I'm sorry.
Your impressions of the pass rush.
Oh.
And Lee McNeil and what?
Yeah, outstanding, top to bottom. Those guys really came through. That was one of the things we talked about, transition from play pass into the rush and then working the games on third down. And those guys, they all go hand in hand. Alex, Jack, all of them inside with Kaminsky and Hutch, J.O., Barnes, because they all run the pick games, the twist games. But, man, we were 6 sacks and 9 quarterback hits. I mean, that was all 100% teamwork there. So that we look like a tenacious defense. Like, that's how we expect to play defense, man. We're ferocious. We play tight coverage. We challenge. Man, I thought Jerry and Cam did a hell of a job. So it was an outstanding effort by our defense.
Dan, you talked about Gibbs quite a bit. Also, Florida had a big game as well. To get contributions like that from rookies on offense means what?
Yeah, I mean they're a part of what we do. They're very much a part of our offense, and they have been since the beginning of the season. So the more they're able to do, the more they allow us to do. The more it sets up St. Brown, the more it sets up Josh Reynolds. I mean, the more weapons we have, that gives us more versatility, more matchups. So as long as they continue to grow, that's a good thing for all of us.
You talked about shooting yourself in the foot in the past in the third quarter there. The pick six followed by the fumble in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know when a team has the poise or the moxie to kind of overcome that? How important is that in being a successful franchise?
Yeah, it's very important. Ultimately, good teams don't do that consistently. They don't have multiple turnovers, but when they do, they're able to overcome them. And I do feel like we got the right. We have guys that don't get frazzled. The wheels don't fall off. I do feel like we're pretty composed. Like, even after that happened, but I think it was more anger than frustration. It was like, I can't believe we just did that. But yet, you're getting the ball right back, and that's how it felt. Like, all right, we're getting the ball right back, so we'll just go do it again. We'll go down there, and so that's, man, when you have that mindset, you can overcome those things.
After the Ravens loss, you were visibly upset on Monday when you talked to us, and
front us and have a performance like this?
I mean, look, it feels good to know that there again. I just go back and think about our identity didn't show through last week. That was not I didn't feel like that was us. That was not us. So ultimately, you believe enough, and all right, let's get back to what we do, and that is the sole focus. And so to me, when that's the sole focus and that's what you go in on, and you pull a little bit back away from the opponent you're playing, I just feel like you're going to be centered that way. And I just know the team too. I know the coaches, I know this team, and they respond. Does that 100% mean that you're always going to win? No, but it does mean that you have a pretty good feeling of when your team will bounce back and be ready to take the challenge. So I'm proud of everybody, proud of all the guys.
And you guys are in a pretty good spot here right now, 62. Maybe after the bye week. You need to make a move here at the deadline. You expect to make a move in the next 24 hours.
I just finished this game. Dave, just give me a minute, would you? I'm gonna drink of water here, maybe go back, take a shower, I mean, I don't know. We've got until what, tomorrow? So, yeah, we'll figure it out. Just let me wake up a little bit, and we'll go in and check it out.
It looks like you guys are equally comfortable running Gibbs inside and outside. Has that been a process to meld those two areas, that he's not just a speed guy?
Not at all. Not at all. We've never felt like he was just an outside back. Do we think – here's what the allure of some of the outside stuff is, his speed. But, I mean, well, sometimes you can use his speed to go downhill right now. It's a little bit quicker to go here than it is here and then turn back up. So, no, we don't feel like he's some finesse back. That's not his deal, and he runs on his tippy toes. And we think he can do it all, We think he's a pretty good gun runner, but certainly he can run out of the dot. So, we feel like he's pretty versatile that way.
Setting myself up to run and go for a ball here, I realize, but two NFC contenders, Philadelphia and Seattle, made trades for Pro Bowl level talent. Do you look at your competition at all when you're weighing whether you do need to make a move?
No, I'm not. No, I don't really think of that. I just think of what do we have here now. Look, I'll talk to Brad. We've kind of gone back and forth, but I'm not, they can do and have whatever they want. We'll figure our stuff out here. I just know this, and I said this, I don't know, probably a week ago. Here's what I know 100% is whether we do something or don't do something, I trust Brad 100% that it's for the betterment of this team. It's the right thing to do. So, let's see where that goes. Good. That is not the best he's felt. That was not the best he's felt, but like a true warrior, he just sucked it up and he went.
Yeah, sorry, last one, just really quickly. I hadn't seen it before, the Jerry Jacobs penalty. I know you got an explanation. Is that a new rule, a new point of emphasis?
What? Yeah. That one, they put that in 2 years ago, and it was that's the crack block, not the crack. You're running a sweep. Tackles cannot cut corners anymore. Like if you're a pulling tackle or tight end or fullback, you cannot take the legs out of, and neither can corners take the legs out of an lineman. Now, so it looked like he bent down and went through his hip, but
Yeah, locker room's open, guys. Due to timing, Jared will be inside. I think that's it for.
Thank you, Dan.
Saint, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No, getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously, when I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to Cure.com to see how you can save. Of course, they've got to get some trade deadline questions in there, which is tomorrow. Happy Halloween, everyone. It could get real spooky here. Not sure if Dan Campbell is foreshadowing anything, but we shall see tomorrow afternoon. Let's talk about this run game. We had a beautiful stat from Michael Bratta, the official stats of Lions Radio. Tell us, first half, Lions had 15 runs for 46 yards. You know what they did in the second half? They went off. 28 runs, 176 yards alone in the second half. Lions finished with 486 total yards. That sounds good, doesn't it? Just under 500. And Jahmyr Gibbs over 150 yards. Hello, welcome Gibbs to the NFL. This is his breakout game. Back-to-back weeks of touchdowns, and that means he's our player of the game. Look at him finding those little lanes to cut through, and just it's the shimmy for me.
You're right, and Danny, a lot of that was between the tackles. It was between the guards, and again, we talked about we had to do some shuffling with our interior linemen. So that was a great job of them guys staying on their blocks, helping Jahmyr, helping Reynolds get the yardage that they got today.
Can we talk about her? The young lady who is going viral.
Hey, look.
She wanted that helmet.
She is strong, man. I mean, she almost pulled them up there by herself.
A little bit of momentum and some Wheaties can help you do anything that you possibly want. Man, so congrats to that lady, that young woman.
She's awesome, man. We're going to have to, she's right up in there. We're going to have to make sure we keep an eye on her every time somebody scores.
Some sideline passes or something.
Yeah, let's take care of her, man.
Let's take care of her.
Do that?
I know. Okay. All right. Sticking with this offense, let's talk a little bit of Amon-Ra St. Brown. My question was, is this his flu game? He came in on the practice report yesterday listed with an illness, so we weren't sure how much of Amon-Ra St. Brown we'd get tonight. Didn't look like much drop-off at all.
Danny, I told Dan and Mike Brother, our statistician, just write in 100 yards receiving for him, even before the game starts, because you know that's what he's going to get. Every single game, this guy is so reliable. Like I say, he's the blanket. I think he's the security blanket for Jared Goff. Seems like each and every game, he's getting over 100 yards. He's so consistent, man. Again, he's one of those guys. I don't know how your offense runs if he was the guy that missed significant time. Great to see him back there, even with the flu. It was great to see him back.
St. Brown sets a new franchise record for most 100-yard receiving games in his first 3 seasons.
Oh my God.
Very, very impressive. The man throwing him the ball, Jared Goff, another really good game from Goff. He got back to his old ways of being really consistent. One interception tonight that, put a little bit of a dagger in that Detroit Lions momentum, but they got it back right away. Goff playing really well. I mean, you compare the numbers to Jimmy G. There's just no comparison. I know that really got you riled up. There is no comparison. Goff is doing what he does best. Look at that. 70 completion percentage here tonight for 272 yards. Every time he threw the balls for about 7.4 yards, 26 completions tonight, and a touchdown. And he, like you mentioned, is behind an offensive line that just keeps shuffling. And so why is Goff able to be so consistent?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's his demeanor. I think Jared, again, Danny, you can't tell whether we're up or down in the game just watching Jared Goff. He stays calm, and I always said when your quarterback is like that, it really rubs off on the rest of the guys in the huddle. So he's been doing a great job all year. He's been pretty much taking care of the ball, but look, I think because he spreads it around, that's what makes him so efficient, makes him so good. And Jared, I mean, he just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, another player who's being so good right now is tight end Sam Laporta.
Yes.
Some quiet yards tonight. He had 57 yards on 8 catches, just a rookie, and he adds another touchdown to that count. So you see there about over 7 yards a catch. His longest reception tonight was for 18 yards, and he had 8 receptions. Those are some really good numbers. He was targeted 10 times, so he's still a factor in this game. For the pass game, when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's chipping away, and Jahmyr Gibbs, who's chipping away, how is Laporta growing here through week, 8?
Yeah, it's amazing, Danny, because, again, I think Ben Johnson, he really puts a lot on his tight ends. If you think about it, we run the 2 tight end set an awful lot. I think we run that more than any other set that we run. They'll split him out wide. They'll bring him in tight. I've seen them in the backfield. I've seen them in motion. So they do so many different things with Sam, and the most impressive thing to me is that he's able to remember all this. this. So, especially being a rookie. So, he's been doing a wonderful job. I expect him to continue to do what he's been doing, and he is a weapon for us.
All right, let's go to the second quarter of this game. That's when Sam Laporta scored his touchdown. 27 seconds were left on that clock. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's our play of the game. It has to be because the momentum they took into the half.
Thank you, Danny. It was huge for us to get this ball in there, and he did a great job. And he runs some nice routes too, man, to get himself open. Jared put it right on him, and again, like we talked about, the protection gives Jared a window to throw the ball to. So I know he's feeling cool and calm back there in the pocket. Absolutely.
He really is. He's not just the typical tight end that blocks or catches. He really is doing both at a very high level.
He really, and the yak. Once he catches the ball, he doesn't just go down to the ground. He really tries to get yards after the catch.
Yeah, he told me when he scored his first touchdown earlier in the season, that's his biggest focal point is yards after the catch. Yep. Yak, like you just said.
Yak.
Yeah. I'm going to spell it out for the people. You can keep yakking over there. Very strong outing from this offense, but a very strong outing from this defense as well. They really needed to bounce back after that Baltimore loss. Don't you agree?
Yeah, they really did, and you could see it. And I think Aaron Glenn came in being more aggressive than Danny. They sent so many blitz. You seen Alex Anzalone blitz, and you seen those guys running stunts on the inside. Jack Campbell, he was coming on the blitz. They did a lot. Aaron Glenn did a lot of things to bring pressure on Jimmy G, and it was effective. It really was, because he had a couple of guys wide open that he overthrew, and I think that was because the clock was sped up with him. So great job of getting after him early and often today.
I'm glad you mentioned linebacker Alex Anzalone first. He is playing his best ball. Why is he your guy?
That's Florida gave their first to start. That gave the fraternity, just like that Michigan fraternity.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's my bad. Here's the sack attack. Alex Anzalone helping to lead this thing off, along with Aleem McNeil, who is the big guy up front.
Yes.
Really helped with that run defense here today. J.O., to start the second half, got a sack for 7 yards, and then Tracy Walker also getting in on all of that sack action. So you've got 6 altogether. It kind of reminds me of that 7-sack game they had earlier this season. They're back. This Detroit defense is back.
They are. They really are. They're playing downhill. I know that's the way Aaron Glenn wants this defense to play, and they are attacking.
Alex Anzalone attacked quarterback Jimmy G in the first quarter. If you recall, Jimmy G was trying to run for a first down. Alex Anzalone stopped him 1 yard short and knocked him out of bounds. He flew over to that side of the field, and I just feel like that fully encompassed what this Detroit defense is all about.
Danny, you're right. They run from sideline to sideline. They're always pursuing. And like those defensive players, if they're going to run that far, they're going to hit somebody. And that's what Alex did when he got to Jimmy G. So it's great to see our defense playing the way they're playing. And hopefully they can just continue to build upon this.
Yeah, Anzalone forcing Raiders to punt after that play that he chased Jimmy G out of. Okay, Aleem McNeil.
Yes.
Up front, defensive tackle, got a lot of love on primetime national TV tonight for a very good reason. 2 sacks there tonight, and he kept that Raiders offense at bay.
Yes,
Didn't let them do
did,
too much ever. I mean, you talk about Devontae Adams. I know he's in the pass game, but he only had 1 reception, and that starts up front.
Hey, look, I think he's frustrated with Jimmy G. I talked to the radio station earlier this week, and they were just saying Jimmy G and Devontae Adams not on the same page. And believe me, Danny, it doesn't help when you got a big fella like that in your face, because he was getting middle pressure on Jimmy. He was chasing Jimmy down. He was batting balls down. He was doing it all tonight, and that's great when you get it in the middle of that defense. So Aleem McNeil, I think he was the guy that really made things go for the rest of the guys on the defensive side of the ball.
McNeil got his flowers tonight.
Yeah.
And you love to see it.
Yeah.
Dancing Teddy Bear, I think, is the nickname he used to be called. They don't call him that too much, but he is athletic and he can move. On the back end of this defense, Kirby Joseph. I will say, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn made the entire defense watch the film from Baltimore. And Kirby Joseph, he took some notes from that. Check this out. 2 total tackles. The INT is what really sticks out, plus those passes defended. He was everywhere, affecting that pass game for the Raiders. Where'd you see Kirby grow tonight?
Oh, I seen him grow exponentially, in the way that he was on guys. I mean, Danny, he was tight on the receivers. Even when they didn't try to get it to the receivers that he was covering, he was still on those guys. And I tell you what, he came up, he supported the run when he needed to do that. But this pass defense has just been getting better and better each and every game that he's been participating in. So Kirby Joseph did a great job. Like you say, Devontae Adams, where was he tonight? I mean, where was he?
Kirby with Jerry Jacobs on the back end and Cam Sutton, they were locked down tonight.
They really were. Devontae had a couple of big drops. Jimmy G had a couple of overthrows. But I think our secondary did a great job against those guys.
They sure did. That is why I got the chance to talk with Kirby Joseph after the game about how they were able to attack this Las Vegas Raiders offense. Check it out. Kirby, this week your defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, said pass defense is team defense. These Raiders didn't catch over 10 balls in this game. Why was the back end such a lockdown unit today?
We had to show that we here to compete. We the best defense out there, and our DBs, we like that. So we just got to all come together, and we communicated today, and we just did our job and gave effort all the way, and we just flew around and made plays.
This team had to take a good hard look at itself after a Baltimore loss last weekend. You come up with an interception. What were you telling yourself going into this game?
I said today is the day. Ain't no more time for that little boy stuff, bro. Like, you got to go all the way. If you really want it, but you got to go all the way. But it's everything I ever wanted. So I got to give it my all every time I'm on the field.
You mentioned the little boy stuff. How are you growing then right now?
It's really a mentality thing. Like, I done seen so much and I just been through so much. So it's like I said, but it's all I ever wanted since I was a kid. So now I'm finally here, and I'm going to show y'all I'm here.
How much sweeter is this then on Monday Night Football in front of a primetime crowd?
It's everything. My mama watching it again. Hey, mama, what's up? I told y'all I'm finna do it today. They're good? All right.
Saint, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No. Getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously, when I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to cure.com to see how you can save. Man, if we had to name an MVP that was not on offense or defense, it would be the kicker, Mr. Riley Patterson.
Yes.
4 for 5 on field goals. Yeah, that's 12 points. We don't have those 12 points. This game was a different story. You like to see the kicker show up.
And they were good points. They were points when we needed. Again, we stalled out in the first half, so we were only able to get 3 points, but they were 3 important points, like you're saying, Danny, because without that, we wouldn't have this victory. So, and I know Coach Campbell, a couple of times, he probably thought about going for it, but sometimes you want to test your kicker. You want to see what you have in your kicker early in the year, so when it gets down to crunch time, you really know that you could count on that guy.
Yeah, we talked about red zone deficiencies.
Yeah.
Lions were 1 of 5 today in scoring in the red zone. That hasn't been their bread and butter all season because they like to score outside of the red zone most of the time. But when you get in there, you got to score against really good teams.
You really do. And that's when it tightens down. It's so hard to score in the red zone because you don't have as much yardage to play with. And the defense know they could use the sidelines and the back of the end zone as another defender. So that's why it's so tough to score in the red zone. But, Danny, you got to be able to put 7 points up when you get in there because, again, as we get later and later down in this season, those 7 points are really, really be important, especially because you start playing better teams and you have to put your foot forward when you're playing a good team. I don't think you could score 3 points and expect to come out with the victory. When you get a chance, you got to put up 7, Danny.
Listen to the big fella.
Thank you.
All right? Okay. We have the honor of talking about all the team scores around the league because we play on Monday Night Football and everyone else has already played Week 8.
Yes.
How lucky are we for the first time in 5 years?
And we won.
At home. And we, I mean, great, just great stuff all around. Okay. This was a doozy of a week in the NFL. Not so much for Bills over Bucks, 24-18. Cowboys over the Rams, 43-20. Not good. They're still figuring out things over there. The Vikings over Green Bay. You can take your win, Vikings, but now Kirk Cousins out for the season with a torn Achilles.
That's going to be horrible for them. You're right.
I feel horrible. Not great in that case. Titans over the Falcons, 28-23. Colts, going down to New Orleans, 38-27. Miami putting it on New England. Jets getting a just over the Giants.
They're the king of New York.
They're the king of New York, I guess.
Right.
Well, Bills, we'll call it that. Jacks over Pittsburgh, 20-10. No shocker there. Carolina gets their first win of the season over Texans.
Battle
That's a big
of the
one.
rookie quarterbacks.
Battle of I agree.
Yeah.
Seattle over Cleveland Chiefs. That was kind of scary.
Wait.
That was spooky.
Danny,
that should have been on Halloween.
Serious?
Yes, Denver did beat. It was a snow game. Patrick Mahomes wasn't 100%. But that's not good. Cardinals just lose to Baltimore 31-24. Interesting. Bengals, welcome back Bengals. Since he is here in the football world again, they beat San Francisco 31-17. And then you got Chargers over the Bears 30-13.
See, Danny, can I say this real fast? I look at that Baltimore score. They let Arizona put 24 up on them. They got 6 against
Dan Campbell said it today. That was not the Detroit Lions team.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Don't get so worked up. We got to win tonight. Yeah, chill. All right, I want your final takeaways aside from your beautiful halftime induction into the Pride of the Lions.
Danny, my takeaway is that we got a victory on Monday Night TV. We haven't been on Monday night in 5 or 6 years at home in front of the national audience. They now see what this team is made of. You know, they know that it's a lot of grit with this team. And when you come to Detroit, we got the home field advantage. So you better bring it when you come to Detroit. I'm telling you, we get a week off the rest, get healthy, look out.
Ooh, yeah, that reminds me of that Craig Reynolds fumble. Questionable. Really ticked off Detroit Lions fans, and they draw a false start the very next play.
And then, Danny, what about them picking up flags? Oh, my God. They were in the habit of picking up flags today. I didn't like that. I didn't like it, Danny.
I'm sorry to get you so amped up on your day, Lomas. Detroit Lions get it done on Big Fella's Day. 26-14 is the final. Here in Week 8, Lions move to 6-2. Man, does that sound good, Lomas?
It really does.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Now they're on a bye week before we got to jet out to LA. Take on those Chargers.
That's all right. We'll go out there, different time zone, but it's going to be the same results, Danny.
It's going to be great. All right. Yes. You guys get a week break from me and Lomas. Yeah. We will see you after the bye.
You think they want a week break away from us?
Yeah, I think it's needed.
Okay.
You're doing too much, Lomas.
Too much.
But we love you anyway. Congrats to LB. Congrats to his fam. That's the final. Wrap from Motor City on Monday Night Football, 26-14. We'll see you on the road in a week and a half.
Yes. Rest.
Bye.